Union Nehawu has vowed to intensify protests from tomorrow until its demands are met. It's accusing government of arrogance during negotiations. Workers affiliated to the union have been protesting since Monday over pay. Nehawu has held a media briefing this afternoon. For more on this story, eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu joins us now. Manqoba, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we need to know what Nehawu is planning for the rest of the week when it comes to their protest, and what did they have to say about the violent behavior by some of their members?
Well, Nehawu insisting, of course, that the strike action is going to continue. In fact, the union saying that they're going to intensify their protest come tomorrow. Of course, you recall that the strike started last week, Monday. This is despite government having gone to court to sort an interdict to stop this particular strike from happening. It went back again on Monday after Nehawu had appealed that court interdict, which effectively meant that Nehawu was going to continue with their protest. They also went to court to try and execute that particular interdict that was handed down on Saturday, and ultimately Nehawu again also interdicted that particular execution of that interdict, and so it says that it's going to continue with their strike. Of course, you recall that the union was in court on Friday to argue against the execution of that interdict. That argued that it's their right to go to protest or to strike as workers, and that really they are not budging on their 10% increased demand from government. We know that government is offering 4.7%, but the union saying that they also want to ensure that no negotiations are going to continue up until the wage dispute from the last year, which is 2022-2023, is concluded. So they're saying that they're not willing to negotiate any further increment until that issue has been resolved. But I want to get more from Nehawu's second deputy president, Patrick Makafane. Thank you for your time, sir. Let's just confirm first, you as Nehawu saying that your strike, of course, is going to continue and that you're going to intensify it.
Correct. We are all systems go. We have availed ourselves over the weekend for any response that would have been positive from the side of the employer. And regrettably, we did not enjoy or get any positive feedback in that regard from the facilitation process. The employer did not bring his positive part, and from the expectation that they will come on board as well from the leadership side to give any positive attempt to try and resolve matters, and they didn't. And so we remained on standby. Our negotiators have been camping at the PSCBC. Surely we have done enough to indicate and to signal that we are ready for a positive ending to the impasse. We have played our part beyond actually what was expected of us, and in the side of the employer, absolutely nothing positive came to the fore to can say that we've got to reconsider the stand. And therefore, as Nehawu was saying, it's all systems go. We are therefore intensifying our action in the same manner that we have started. We will actually want to escalate it and push forward until our demands are met.
Does this include essential workers? I know that this was one of the sticking points in court, the fact that essential workers are also part of this strike. What do you mean when you're saying intensifying it? Does it mean that essential workers will also be part of that strike?
I'm sure that you know that we went to court and we argued and we are waiting for the judge to pronounce himself on what he thinks should be the way forward insofar as the arguments are concerned. Our legal team is on standby to study what the judge says, but insofar as we are concerned, we respect the right to life and we respect the right to the access to the health services. But equally, Manqoba, you must appreciate that all workers by law, insofar as the Labour Relations Act is concerned, they are defined as employees, and therefore employees in terms of the Constitution of the Republic has got the right to enter into a strike, and entering into a strike simply means withdrawal and a total withdrawal of labour. We will deal with the technicalities as and when they emerge from what the judge shall have said and vis-a-vis our understanding as a trade trade union organizing the public sector to say our members, first and foremost, are employees. We've got the right to strike. So we'll strike a balance according to what the court of laws shall have said at the end of the day.
But government says it's illegal and that they're breaching the law by being on strike.
And I'm saying to you, because those arguments are entertained at the court level, we've done that, and we are waiting for the judge to actually come out clear. And then I'm sure where we think that there's a bit of an unfairness on our part, insofar as the employees and the members of the union being stripped of their right to bargaining and to strike, we shall then use the very same legal processes to then urge our case moving forward, and so that we are having a strength of mobilization in all the sectors that we are organizing in as the health union as well.
As far as negotiations are concerned, how are those going? Is there any indication that you could meet each other somewhere?
We must appreciate the positive attitude of the newly appointed minister, who has all the intention to resolve the matter. But we are of the view that she's not enjoying the support needed, that is to actually try and intervene. And with regard to the employer, the DPSA and the negotiators and the principals who have mandated them, we are regretting to say to the public that they have got no intention whatsoever to resolve positively the matters at hand. And that is why then we have Nehawu saying that we are proceeding with our action, because in any event we are not getting anything from the side of the employer, hence the action that must be pursued even beyond tomorrow.
Aren't you worried, though, as a union, about the patients, because they are the ones that have been at the receiving end of this impasse between you and government? And we know that there are reports that there are 4 people that could have died as a result of this. In fact, the Minister of Health saying that this is directly attributed to your strike. Are you concerned at all about the lives of patients that are receiving this health care that are not able to do so right now?
Those patients are our fellow society members, they are our friends, they are our relatives, they are our uncles, they are our sisters, and so on. Because workers are not coming from the other planet elsewhere. They are not some special creature. They are human beings as well. So they live in the society. We are very much worried. That's why we would have loved to settle the dispute ASAP. But if the fellow counterparts who must assist us in resolving that are not coming on board, then it's unfortunate. And I must say, that it is in the best interest of the society for this matter to be resolved ASAP, because you need a happy workforce in order to service qualitatively the very same clients who are now the patients at the end of the day, so that we have a happy service provider, which is the public servant, but also the happy client, which is the recipient on the other side.
Will you take any responsibility, though, as a union, or who should?
The employer should. Let's say this. You know that apart from us being a public service, the Labour Relations Act does say that the employer should do certain things in preparation, because that's why you serve the notice in the first place. When you serve the notice, the employer has got all the rights and the time to prepare themselves accordingly in order for the strike not to affect the business of the employer. Failure to do that cannot be attributed to the trade union, and therefore this blame must be put squarely to the government that has failed to ensure that systems are actually in place to protect those who have got an entitlement to the service at the end of the day, but also not deny the ones that have got an entitlement and the right to strike because they want economic conditions to be improved.
Okay, so just in short, the strike continues and you're going to intensify for how long, though?
Well, the question of how long depends on the attitude of the state. If the state can improve the attitude and actually demonstrate beyond what they have been doing, which is now to play the legal game, going to court instead of focusing on resolving the matter, and if the state can then make a commitment that they have done when they occupy the office to say that the health is a main primary service that must be given to the public unhindered. So they must make a commitment to resolve the matter and to come on board and ensure that the parties to the engagements are having, a sort of a happy ending to the current impasse. But in the absence of that, Manqoba, unfortunately, you are leaving us with no choice. And we desperately want to go and serve those clients because they are our people. We are not enemies to them. But the state must bring its part.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was Patrick Makafane, who's the second deputy president of Nehawu, just giving us, their view as far as this impasse is concerned. Of course, they're saying that they're going to continue, they're going to intensify. The issue of essential workers, of course, is still a question that is before the court. The judgment is expected tomorrow on that matter, and that will really pave the way as to whether or not this strike can continue if it does, dismiss that particular application by Nehawu to have that execution order to be effected. This means that they will be forced to go back to work. But of course, Nehawu is saying it's still exploring its legal options as well. It says that their members will continue to be in strike up until their demands are met.
Thank you so much. Of course, eNCA's reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, just giving us an update there about Nehawu. They had a briefing this afternoon, basically saying that they will be continuing with that strike this week.